Hello, and welcome to my QTP video tutorial, where I will be showing you how to use the message box functionality that comes with HP's QuickTest Professional, or QTP. Message boxes give us the ability to output information during a test run in the form of a pop-up box. Once a message box appears, it effectively pauses the script's execution until the box is closed. Message boxes can display information from a number of sources. Some of the most common sources are hard-coded strings, variables, environment variables, and data table values. I've prepared several examples of how message boxes can be used. As you will see, they're very easy to use and can be very helpful while you're debugging your scripts. With that being said, let's get started. I will be walking through the script that I have prepared line by line. To run a test like this, hit the F11 key on your keyboard and then click OK or hit the Enter key when presented with the run box. While running a test like this, you will need to hit the F11 key on your keyboard every time you're ready to move the script down to the next line. Now, the first example that I have prepared for you will show what a message box will do when you're sending out information with a hard-coded string value. Now in this first example, as you can see, I have typed in MSGBOX. That is the keyword that you need to type in for QTP to actually use the message box functionality. So every time you want a message box to appear, you always need to start the command, or that part of your command at least, with MSGBOX, short for message box. Now in this example, I've put in message box and then the word hello with an exclamation point in quotes. Now what this will do is when I step down through this line, it will bring up a pop-up box and it will contain the word hello with an exclamation point in it. So I'll go ahead and hit the F11 key now to go ahead and move through this line. Now, as you can see, a message box has appeared. The word hello with an exclamation point has appeared in the message. As you can see, this correlates back with the text that I included within the quotes here on the first line. Now, in the message box, there's two ways that you can click to close the message box. First, you can click the red X in the top right corner, or you can click the OK button. Or you can actually just hit the Enter key. Any of those three methods will close the box for you. So now that's an example of how you can just use a hard-coded string value in a message box. Now the next example I will show you will take not only a hard-coded string value, but it will also concatenate a variable's value into the message box text. As you can see on line 6 of my script, where the cursor's currently at, I created a variable and gave it a name of first name, and I set it equal to the word John. Now, once I F11 through this again, it will set the first name variable equal to John. Now, when we step through this message box command, as you can see in the script that I've prepared, the first part of the message will say hello, and then we're going to use the ampersand sign, which is Shift 7 on the keyboard, and then I'll reference the variable that we created above on line 6. Hit F11 again. Now it pops up a message box, and as you can see, the words hello John have appeared. And again, to go back to our code, we started off with MSGBOX, the word hello, the ampersand sign, which again is Shift 7 on your keyboard, and then the variable name, which was first name that we had set here. So that's how it's displaying hello John. So let's go ahead and click to close this message box. Now the next example that I've prepared for you is to show you how you can, if you would like, just use a variable. So in this instance, I've not put in the word hello. All we're going to do is display a message box with the contents of the first name variable, which I had said a few lines above have a value of John. As you can see, after stepping through that line of code, it's now presented us with a message box and with the word John, which again, it is displaying John because that is what we have set that variable equal to on line 6. And we'll go ahead and click OK to close this message box. Now the next example I'm going to show you is how you can actually concatenate two separate strings together on the same line as what you are creating the message box with. So I will just go ahead and step through the next two lines to assign the variables their values. And for the first word, I'm using the word auto. And for the second word, I'm using mobile. So if those concatenate together correctly, we should see one word, and it would be automobile. Now, we'll go ahead and F11 through this. And as expected in the message box, we now see one word, which is automobile. Now, quite like in a couple of examples previous to this, we referenced one variable, then used the ampersand sign, which again is shift 7, and then referenced a second variable. So we're concatenating the contents of the first variable with the contents of the second variable, which have produced one word. We'll now click to close this. Now the next example I will show you is how you can actually compute mathematical calculations on the same line as what it is when you're creating a message box. In this example, I've created two variables, one that I'm calling first number, and I'm assigning a value of 1. The next, I've given a name of second number, and I've given it a value of 2. Now in the next line of code, as you can see, what I'm looking to do is take the first number variable and add it to the second number variable. So in effect, what we're doing is we're adding 1 plus 2. So we'll go ahead and F11 through this. Now, as you can see in the message box, it's output a value of 3, which has added the value of the first variable, which was 1, to the value of the second variable, which is 2. So that total value of 3 is being reflected in the message box. So we'll go ahead and click to close that. Now another data source that you can use to pull information from to display in a message box is environment variables. Environment variables in this instance will work very similar to the way that normal variables worked, as I've shown you in the previous couple of examples. But I wanted to show you one of those just to give you an example of that. So this line, line 25, I'm going to create an environment variable that I will call first name, and I will assign the word David to that environment variable. So when I F11 through that, and then through the next message box line, as you can see, we're now being displayed, hello David, which if we look back over to line 26 in the script, you can see I started off the line with MSGBOX, which is our standard message box keyword. And then after that, I put in the hard-coded string value of hello, then used an ampersand, which again is shift 7, and then referenced the environment variable that I just created on the line above. So with the word hello and the environment variable concatenated together, that gives us a result of hello David. Can now click OK to close this window. Now the next example I'll show you is how you can use an environment variable by itself to be displayed in the output of a message box. It works quite the same as what I'd shown you above for a regular variable. So I'll go ahead and click the hit the F11 key. Now in this you'll notice that it's displayed the word David. It's displaying the word David because it's referencing the value that is within the environment variable that is called first name, which I had assigned a couple of lines above to the word David. Now I'll go ahead and click OK to close this window. Now the next data source that we can use to pull information from is the data table that you'll see at the bottom of my screen. Now I've created a column name in the global data sheet, and I've called it first name. In the first row of the first name column, I've put in a value of Larry. Now I'll go ahead and hit F11 to move through line 33 in my script. And as you can see, we've been presented with a text in the message box of Hello Larry. The reason that it's displaying Hello Larry is I have hard-coded the string value of hello. I've then used an ampersand, which is again Shift 7. And then now I'm referencing the data table value for the first name column in the global data sheet. I'll now go ahead and click OK in the message box. Now our final example, I'll show you how you can use just the data table value by itself with no other hard-coded strings and for that to appear in a message box. So let's go ahead and hit the F11 key again. You'll now see that it's showing us just the word Larry. It's doing that because we've only referenced the data table value in the first name column in the global data sheet. We did not put any other string contents in this line of code. So I'll go ahead and click OK to close this message box. At this point, this now concludes our video. I hope this has given you a good understanding of how you can use message boxes in your scripts. Thank you, and I hope that you have a great day.